The national champions are the Philadelphia Eagles, and now for the American Conference, the Oakland Raiders and San Diego Chargers. Two teams who battled to a virtual tie in the AFC West, 11-5. They each beat each other on their home field, and the Chargers are introduced now. San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium, named after the recently deceased sports writer who brought Major League sports to this city. 52,000 partisan fans decorated in their blue and gold, and an intense rivalry. 43rd time these two teams have met, and yet they have never played each other in a championship game. Pride and poise of Oakland against Charger power. Will it be San Diego or Oakland that goes to New Orleans? NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference Championship game. Today from San Diego Stadium, it's the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers. This championship game is brought to you by Plymouth, who invites you to drive the front-wheel drive Plymouth Reliant K, the American way to beat the pump. By Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. By Ryder Truck Rental, the best truck money can rent. And by Allstate Insurance Companies. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Dick Enberg, and welcome to the third meeting between these two teams. Oakland and San Diego battled in big offensive shows during the regular season. The loser in both those games scored 24 points. We expect much the same today. We'll be talking more about the offense with former quarterbacks Len Dawson and John Brody later. But when you get to championship play, usually the emphasis is on defense, and the teams that win play great defensive ball. We have our expert, too, Merlin Olsen. You played on that side of the line of scrimmage. How about these two clubs on defense?
Well, Dick, no question that the Oakland Raiders are here because of the great play on defense, especially the second half of the year. Their big concern in this game, coping with a complicated San Diego offense and Dan Fouts. They have to make him uncomfortable, put the pressure on him in that pocket if they're going to be successful today.
Well, they got a couple of men with H's on their back, Hayes and Hendricks, that'll make him uncomfortable. For San Diego to stop Oakland, what do you see defensively there?
You've got to treat Oakland a little bit differently. They have a fine running game, better balance offensively. I think shut them off on the running game and not allow Plunkett to have that extra time that he needs for the deep pass patterns which he favors.
So that's a look at the defense. For the offense, let's go to two men with 36 years combined of pro football experience, Len Dawson and John Brody.
Thank you, Dick. Lenny, Merlin thinks the defense wins championships. How do you react to that?
You know that I do not believe that. I guess with the exception of Oakland, but you know and I know that offenses get you in there.
The rule changes have had an effect, and I think that San Diego today is going to try to get Oakland in defensive situations that they do not enjoy. Man-to-man coverage with great receivers in uncomfortable positions. It will be tough for Dan Fouts because Oakland knows the intention of him, and so as we go along throughout the day, we'll be able to keep you up with whether he's successful or whether he isn't.
You know, on the other side, Jim Plunkett has had a fantastic year. He is 11-2 in the games that he has started. I think this afternoon he's going to have exercise patience because for Oakland, they take the ball away more than anybody in the NFL, or San Diego, they give it away more than anybody else. That's a story from the field. Now back up to Dick.
Thank you, gentlemen. And now we prepare for the coin toss. You know, often, Merlin Olsen, in times like this, as a defensive player, didn't you hope that you were on the field first where you might force that turnover? I had a feeling today that Philadelphia enjoyed being on defense initially against Dallas.
Dick, I think you'd like to put your strength on the field first. I think a team like Oakland wants their defense up. A team like San Diego would like to have their offense up.
Cal Lepore is the referee, and now the toss of the coin.
And the tail is pale. Visiting teams, Oakland will make the call. Call-a-wise in the air. What do you call? Heads. Calls heads. It is heads. Oakland wins the toss. to receive. When you send a goal, turn around, please. Oakland wins the toss. Lex to receive. That's it. Good luck, man. Have a good one.
Al Lepore and his crew, Art Demis, Leo Miles, Bill Reynolds, Pat Knight, Grover Clemmer, Dick Dollick, Red Cashin, Al Jury. An honor for these gentlemen to be working the American Conference Championship game. Tom Flores, 43 years of age, University of Pacific graduate. He's been a Raider most of his football life. Don Coryell. He was in the playoffs with the St. Louis Cardinals 3 times, lost first-round games. Lost last year with San Diego in the first round, but here he is playing on his home field for the championship today. Rolf Penershka, much publicized athlete, lucky to be in those football cleats today after a near fatal battle with an intestinal disease last year. And he'll kick it off to the black and silver of Oakland.
Dick, in a game like this, emotion pumping, both sides of the line of scrimmage, you'd like to get in and get your feet wet a little bit. I don't think we're going to see either team explode. I think they've got to be a little tight right here at the beginning of the game. They need to get a hit or two to kind of settle down.
Arthur Whittington, number 22, and Keith Moody, number 26, will return for Oakland. You'll see Penershka as he kicks the ball head immediately to the sidelines to protect himself against the surgery that followed that intestinal disease. Ready to go, and they're on their feet in San Diego. Keith Moody, the ex-Buffalo Bill, at the 9. And he's down at the 29-yard line. Hal Stringert, number 45, and Hank Bauer, 37, with a tackle. The offense for the Oakland Raiders, led by 16, Jim Plunkett. You'll see those in the white configuration are Pro Bowlers. Kenny King, as a first-year Raider, goes to that Pro Bowl. Mark Van Egan, the reliable fullback. Cliff Branch represents the speed. Bob Chandler, the finesse. And Raymond Chester, oh, what big catches in the win against Cleveland last week. Art Shell on the way to the Pro Bowl with Gene Upshaw, Dave Dalby, Mickey Marvin, and Henry Lawrence. Van Egan. For 4 yards, Leroy Jones made the tackle. Defensively for the San Diego Chargers, a front four that has enjoyed considerable superlatives written about them this year. Leroy Jones, and then the other 3 all going to the Pro Bowl. Big Louis Kelcher, Gary Big Hands Johnson, the speed Fred Dean, linebackers Preston Horn and Lowe. Some doubt about their talent in covering the pass. Buchanan and Williams at the corners. Glenn Edwards and Mike Fuller at safety. 2nd and 6. Kenny King. Ray Preston after a short game, and Louis Kelcher. And they love Louis.
Big Louis Kelcher, number 74. He's the policeman. Watch his reaction now. They're trying to pin him away from that draw play. Just spins back inside. That's good recognition and excellent reaction to the play, to the draw. They're trying to open it up, give the quarterback a little more room with that play, Dick.
And now Plunkett faces a possible pass situation at the 35. Incomplete. Complete to Raymond Chester. He could go all the way. 30, 20. Chester has a touchdown.
Chester still can't believe it. Ball glanced off the hand of the intended receiver, right into his hands, and he waltzes 65 yards. Some people say that this is a team that's destined to go to the Super Bowl. Looking at that play, off the hands of Kenny King, right into the hands of Raymond Chester, and no one believed it.
It caught the entire San Diego defense, of course, drifting with the anticipation that King would catch the ball. So when Chester meat-hooked it down, he had clear sailing the opposite way before the defense could retract. Chris Barr out of Chandler's hold for the extra point. It's good. Sometimes you're good, and sometimes you're good and lucky. And the Raiders, in a matter of a minute and a half, have 7 points on a deflection.
From my football experience, I know that very often when you get a big play like this right off the bat, and you tend to relax a little bit, sometimes it can do almost as much damage to a team as it does good. It puts them on the scoreboard. It gives them the 7 points. But you'd hope that it hasn't deflated all of that emotion that Oakland brought into this game.
So the Oakland Raiders on a deflection from King to Casper, a play that would not have been legal a couple of years ago, but of course that rule been changed, have the early 7-0 lead, and now it's Barr to kick it off to San Diego. Deep for the Chargers, Hank Bauer, number 37, and Ron Smith, 84. Took a minute, 35 seconds, and 3 plays for Oakland to get on the board. Older brother of Pittsburgh's Matt Barr. Hank Bauer at the 9. And he is smothered short of the 20-yard line. Otis McKinney, number 23, the tackler. The San Diego offense, NFL record-setting offense, led by quarterback Dan Fouts. Back-to-back 4,000 yards passing. Chuck Muncie from New Orleans, Mike Thomas, the ex-Redskin, with him. 3 Pro Bowl receivers, Joyner, Jefferson, and Winslow, all over 1,000 yards. Shields, Doug Wilkerson, Kobler, Masick, White, and Dan Audick for Russ Washington, who was injured against Oakland at midseason. From the 17-yard line, Fouts to throw, and he's going long for Smith. All the way to the 29-yard line. To the man who caught the winning touchdown against Buffalo last week.
Dan Fouts is not wasting any time. He's going for it right off the bat. A perfect toss. Interesting that, again, he got isolation one-on-one. Fouts will pick on you. You can't put that kind of speed one-on-one. Give him time to throw the football. He'll eat you alive.
Trailing 7-0. First down at the 29. Dropped for a loss at the 31-yard line. Let's talk about Chuck Muncie for a moment, Merlin Olsen. He has given the Raiders, or given the Chargers, a running game they did not possess last year, but he also has brought immediately some fear to that offense because he did cough it up. He fumbled often early here in San Diego.
One of the reasons the Chargers led the league in giveaways was Muncie's help in that department. He fumbled it away many times, but he has not fumbled in the last 2 games. Has had 2 great games against Pittsburgh and against Houston. If he can have that kind of game today, he gives this San Diego offense a great deal more to work with.
Second down and 12. Muncie. Incomplete, and it'll be 3rd and long. The defense for the Oakland Raiders, and as Merlin told you, a vastly improved unit from midseason on. The twos, Matuzak, the speed in Kinlaw, and Dave Browning light for a defensive lineman, but very quick. Ted Hendricks has had a banner year with the rookie Matt Millen out of Penn State, Bob Nelson back from an injury, and Rod Martin. And then there is a story in itself in Lester Hayes. A great year for him, the interception leader in the NFL. Osteen, the young corner, with Owens, the former Jet, and Mike Davis, the hero last week in Cleveland, at safety. Jefferson, first down at the 14. Jefferson, 17 yards and a San Diego first down.
Jefferson working one-on-one on Lester Hayes. Gets across inside, and Burgess Owens, number 44, has to come up in that safety position to shut it off.
Jefferson, the yardage leader in the NFL this year. First down inside the 15. A lot of time, and he throws it away. Jefferson came back to meet the ball, but at that point, Fouts had to unload.
Dick, we talked about how well this Oakland team has played defensively during the second half of the year. It's absolutely amazing. It's like drawing a line in their season. First 7 games of the year, they were having problems. There you see the point totals. First 7 games, they gave up a lot of points, an average of 25 per game. The last 9 games, 14.2. That's tremendous defense.
Second and 10. 5 defensive backs for the Raiders. Otis McKinney in the lineup. Winslow is split left. Jefferson and Joyner to the right. Intercepted, and you know who. All the way to the 25-yard line goes Lester Hayes. What an amazing year for the young cornerback from Texas A&M.
Lester Hayes able to anticipate, able to get a great jump on that ball. The receiver had fallen down on the play and just put himself beautifully in line for that one.
And look at those numbers for 1 year. Now 5 interceptions in the playoffs, 22 turnovers for Hayes alone.
When high interest rates keep America from buying the fuel-efficient cars it needs, it's time to do something about it. Starting now, when you buy a new U.S.-built 81 Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge passenger car on credit, you can deduct 7% from the sticker price, including options, because we think the interest rates are 7% too high. That number will move up or down depending on a significant change in the prime interest rate. Make your best deal, then get $380 to $1,200 direct from Chrysler. We'll help you buy the car you want.
Nobody makes an English scramble except Denny's. Nobody scrambles 2 large, fresh eggs in real butter, serves them on a crunchy English muffin, smothers them with rich cheese sauce, succulent with bits of celery and green pepper, and serves them with crisp bacon. Nobody, only Denny's. And this month, it's only $2.49. The English Scramble at Denny's, where you'll like our prices and you'll love our food.
And the Lester Hayes story in 1980-81 continues.
Dan Fouts would like to have a string on that one, be able to pull it back. One thing you have to say about Fouts, he can throw 5 interceptions in the game, still come back at you. You see the slip right there by Jefferson. Fouts may have indeed been trying to hang on to that football. It was not a good pass, and it was a costly mistake on the part of the San Diego offense.
7-0 Oakland. 3.5 minutes into the game. Van Egan, short yardage. Fred Dean got him first. Louis Kelcher with an assist. Oakland, like San Diego, improving its running game this year. And Kenny King, of course, the answer to that improved statistic.
Dick, I have to believe that Oakland will be running at the right side of San Diego's defensive line. They want to keep Big Hands Johnson and Fred Dean pinned down with the running game to limit their pass rushing capability.
This is King. Well done by Ray Preston and Willie Buchanan. Preston from Syracuse University. It'll be 3rd and 5. Chargers having a similar year, stopping the run with that of last year. It's a lost statistic with all of San Diego's offensive numbers that they finished 6th in the entire NFL in total defense. Third and 5. Plunkett. incomplete to King. They ruled that Plunkett was in the grasp and in the control of the tackler. The play is dead back at the 20-yard line. So record a sack for San Diego.
The Oakland Raiders run deep pass patterns. Plunkett needs extra time, and he is not going to get it there. The blitz is on. They trap him. He almost pulls away. And Dick, it was really Plunkett's running ability and scrambling ability that hurt San Diego so much in that game he started up in Oakland.
And he does unload a terrific pass there. It was right on the money to King. Raymond Guy, a weapon in his own right. He hits up Beauty. Mike Fuller all the way back to the 21-yard line. There's also a flag down. Fuller to the 34. Let's check the penalty. It's downfield. 59-yard kick by Guy.
The San Diego Chargers came after Guy. They feel that they have to try and disrupt his timing to keep him from making that kind of kicks. Let's see if it bothers him the next time he kicks. Didn't seem to bother him on that one.
Not that time, but he's going to get an immediate chance to kick over again, I believe, because there was an ineligible man downfield on the punt. And San Diego says, kick it over. Well, they go back to mark the ball. Let's call in Len Dawson and John Brody get the early reaction to the quarterback play. Gentlemen.
Was able to do exactly what they wanted to do on the first play of the ball game, only because they were able to isolate Smith on Davis out playing the corner. If they can do that, they'll be effective. But late in the drive, they were unable to get him man-to-man. He threw into his zone. He'd like to have had the ball back, but Jefferson fell down.
You know, I'll tell you, John, Oakland is really
Lucky because they were going underneath.
kicking team, still fourth down.
Actually, Plunkett was going for Kenny King, throwing underneath the linebackers. They got a big break there, but you can see right now Oakland is trying to run with the football, try to establish that running game to take some of the pressure off of Plunkett.
Thank you, Lenny Dawson. John Brody with us here in San Diego today, and of course will join us in the Superdome for the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. So San Diego expects to get better field position as Guy forced to kick again. Again, a 10-man rush. And he hits it high, and a fair catch by Fuller at the 38. Boy, that's a clutch kick by Guy under pressure, and a timeout in San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. That was a 46-yard kick, no return. 9 minutes left, first quarter. Raiders lead by 7.
This Bud's for everyone who serves us a hot one, pops us a cold one.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Alcoa can't wait.
Here they come, pouring in from California and Vermont, from Texas, Oklahoma, and Georgia, from all over the country. Billions of used aluminum cans headed for recycling. Today, about 1 out of 4 aluminum cans is recycled and used again. Tomorrow, maybe 1 out of 3. Someday, maybe every one of them.
We can't wait. We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
It's an all-new BJ and the Bear. BJ moves to Hollywood and hires 7 sexy lady truckers in the 2-hour action-packed season premiere Tuesday.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. We're happy you're with us today, and congratulations to Dick Vermeil's Philadelphia Eagles on their big win today against Dallas.
They're fighting a legend when they go up against Tom Landry and the Dallas Cowboys. They did a super job of taking care of the Cowboys and earning their right to go to New Orleans.
That's right. And well said. Super indeed for the Eagles as they celebrate in Philadelphia. Here at 7-0 Oakland. And Chuck Muncy out to the 39-yard line. 9 minutes and 8 seconds left in the first quarter. In case you joined us late, The Raiders with a freak touchdown. A pass, short pass to Kenny King that went through King's fingertips, deflected downfield to his teammate, Raymond Chester, who rambled 65 yards for a touchdown on the third play of the game. Fouts drove the Chargers back to the Oakland 15, only to be intercepted by Lester Hayes. Winslow in motion. Charlie Joyner, first down, 48 of Oakland.
Dan Fouts is a marvel at getting that ball on target, in traffic, under pressure. That ball perfectly thrown, and Joyner, of course, arriving at the precise spot that he is supposed to be in, too.
Ted Hendricks, who's had a banner season, and he almost got to Fouts.
He's been the pressure man. He's been the trigger man for that defense.
Live action, it's Fouts scrambling and going long for Joyner. Touchdown! Touchdown! Oh, my! What's fair for the goose is fair for the gander. Another deflection, and it's San Diego that scores this time.
Fouts is throwing to a man who is double covered. He has so much confidence in his receivers that he even throws when there are two people standing on top of him. And Charlie Joyner makes the kind of catch that John Jefferson has been famous for all year. How could you have a better catch than that?
A bad snap, but a good spot. Mike Fuller saved the extra point, and the game is tied. Veteran Charlie Joyner ties it on this catch, fighting off two Raiders.
Burgess Owen, number 44, one of the men who had picked up Joyner in the secondary. You see the pass right there, just over the outstretched fingertips of Dwayne Osteen. He looked like he had a chance at it until the very end.
Merlin, it appeared that Joyner, actually with the ball out of his vision, it hit his helmet, and he felt it up there and brought it in for the score. I guess that's what all that experience is about.
Well, that's why the Chargers are watching all three of their receivers go to the Pro Bowl. Winslow, Joyner, Jefferson have been making this kind of play all year long on Dan Fouts' throws. Oh, what a catch. Great camera work, gentlemen, too.
Well, of course, these teams have migrated out of the old American Football League into the newly formed NFL. This is not unlike the start that fans cheered and really were amazed at times, those high-scoring treats of the old AFL days. 7-7 halfway through the first quarter. Arthur Whittington down at the 24-yard line. Cliff Thrift, 59, with a hit.
I'd like to throw a question over to Lenny and John while we got a second here. I can remember championship games in the past until the last few years starting out very slow and building. These guys are coming out just shooting them.
So we've had a 65-yard touchdown, a 48-yard touchdown. Hank Bauer in the midst of the flurry. First down, Oakland. Chandler right, Branch left, tight end Chester on the right side. Going long for Branch. Incomplete at the 39-yard line. Mike Williams and Glenn Edwards on the coverage.
Plunkett wanted to have almost an instant replay of that last situation that got the touchdown for San Diego. He's bumped as he throws that football, puts it a little high. Branch over the top, almost made a miracle catch over the top of Williams.
Branch, who had 7 touchdowns in the course of this year, still one of the fastest receivers in all of football. kept him there. It rained last night, and until noon today, even though the field was covered, it appears there will be some slippery spots.
There are a few places on the field, Dick, when they were removing the tarps, the water would collect in spots, and Plunkett had the misfortune of hitting on one of those spots. This is a clay field, and it is not very heavy in grass. In other words, that's mostly paint you see down there, that green. There are spots that are extremely slick. Plunkett got on one of those spots.
3rd and 10. 3rd and 20, rather. Rolling and throwing long to Branch. All the way to the 37-yard line. Well, this isn't a pea shooting contest. They're out with the big cannons early in the first quarter.
I alluded to the fact that in many past years, contests of this kind were grind them out affairs. Both of these teams have come out throwing the big guns immediately. The ball is in the air and they're going for broke. And that's the big weapon. That's the long-range weapon. The vertical game, as Al Davis would say for Oakland. Number 21, Cliff Branch.
9.3 speed. Ran one of the fastest 40s ever. 4.3. And it's a first down at the 37 of San Diego. 2 tight ends in for the Raiders. Van Egan to the 32. Fred Dean, the tackler, with Fuller assisting. Well, you were wrong for one of the few times I can recall all year. You thought it'd be more of a passive first quarter.
I thought they would test each other a little bit before they opened the gates. Of course, perhaps that big play, that almost a freaky kind of play, but bouncing off the hands and into Chester's hands, that might have changed the philosophy early. Look at the stickum on Lester Hayes. He said he had gloves on last week. He puts that stickum on to control the ball. He said, my stickum froze up. I had to knock it off my gloves.
2nd and 6. Plunkett, Louis Kelcher. Obviously, that's not boo, but Lou that the San Diego fans are chanting. Saved a long gain. It appeared Plunkett had easy first down yardage. Instead, he gained only a couple. Actually, it's a sack. Actually, he lost a little less than a yard, so that's ruled a sack.
Louis must have trouble with his shoulder pads. He's come off the field, and they're pulling up his jersey. Maybe he popped a string. There's a shoestring in the front of those pads. He may have broken it.
3rd and 6. That's Kenny King in motion. Throwing for Christensen, and a flag is down, and we'll see against whom. It could go either way. Both men were pushing.
I believe it'll be offensive interference, but I'll let the official call it for us. There are 2 flags down.
We'll get a chance to look at it before we see this. I go, no, it's against San Diego.
It's the defense. Let's see what happened on the play. They're all over each other fighting for position, but they're going to call Ray Preston 52. Todd Christensen out of the backfield. Watch Ray Preston now. Let's see what kind of contact is made here. He's playing man-to-man. There it is. It was the first push that they called him for. Actually, at the end of that play, they could have called offensive interference.
Preston was not playing the ball, but the man, and used his hands. You'll see he is not looking for the ball when he gives the push. First down outside the 10. Kenny King, flags are down, and I believe the Raiders got off too quickly. Appeared to be motion Oakland.
It appeared that that was a play designed to look like a pass and then to run up inside of Dean. Shell had dropped like it was a pass, and Dean was off very quickly.
And it was off again. San Diego, the penalty. The Raiders on back-to-back penalties are inside the 10.
71.
Fred Dean, too quick.
Well, I said he was off quickly. He was off ahead of the football.
Dean on his way to the Pro Bowl. Started the season at home. Did not on a sign and was coaxed into the fold at the beginning of the regular season. 1st and 5, Kenny King. Bob Horn and Louis Kelcher with a tackle. Kenny King carried the ball only 3 times all last year, and there are his marks for this season against San Diego. In that second game, he had the 89-yard run, the longest in the NFL this year.
They're attacking the right side of San Diego's offensive line. Gary Johnson almost overrunning the play. That's Kelcher. He has played so well against the run. 12 tackles last week in that game. Kelcher's the man who made the play from the backside. If he doesn't make it, King may have gone into the end zone.
Plunkett's going to run it in. Touchdown. Now Jim Plunkett scrambles in, and that's a dimension that our 2 experts, Messrs. Brody and Dawson, can well appreciate. They weren't exactly known for their running talent, but we'll...
Talked about Plunkett's ability to scramble. He is not a particularly fast runner, but he's willing to run. He's averaged 5 yards to run during the season.
But never had a more important run this year, and that short one into the end zone. He finds the defensive lineman clogged in the center, gives a little fake, and just dives in, slides in.
Chris Barr tags on the extra point. When we return, we'll get a comment from our quarterback experts. 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Already 3 touchdowns, and Oakland leads it 14-7.
I learned to drive in an old Model T that belonged to my dad. We counted on Pennzoil to take care of the engine. Today, Pennzoil does even more, because now it saves gasoline. Pennzoil has added gas savings to its regular multi-weight oils, and they've done it at their regular price. So you don't have to spend extra money to get extra miles.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
This front-wheel drive Plymouth Reliant K Coupe has America's highest 6-passenger mileage, priced at $58.80, with this rich, custom-pleated interior. Equip Reliant the way you want. Automatic transmission, power steering, deluxe wheel covers, white walls, AM radio. Choose the ones you want or take them all for only $65.95. 4-door, $100 additional at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Now make your best deal on a new 81 Plymouth, then get $380 to $1,200 direct from Chrysler on top of it.
The Hill Street Blues. You've never seen cops like Hill and Renko, the crack street team.
Oh, Mom, they stole my car.
Hill Street Blues premiering soon.
The key play in that scoring drive was the 49-yard pass on 3rd and 20. Plunkett to Cliff Branch, and then the interference goal. Barr to Bauer at the 6. Gets it to the 20-yard line before Derek Ramsey can corral him. Let's go back to the touchdown by Plunkett, and following the Oakland offense, Lenny Dawson.
Well, Dick, John Brody and I were just talking about Plunkett's ability for survival. Now, the linebackers are really flying out of there, and you're going to see an opportunity from ground level to take a look at Plunkett, and he's going to have a lot of room to get into the end zone. He's not very fast, but there's a lot of space there because the linebackers are getting such great depth. He's going to make the move right now. There isn't anybody here. He's not that swift, but by the time anybody gets near him, he's into the end zone for a touchdown.
All right, Len Dawson, first down, San Diego now trailing 14-7. Muncy breaks a tackle, fumbles out of bounds. It'll stay in San Diego's possession at the 20-yard line. Mike Davis, 36, and Otis McKinney, 23, around that football.
One of the reasons that Muncy had fumbled so much is he tends to carry the ball in one hand. He has very large hands. He had gotten over that in the last couple of games. Watch him here. He's getting careless. That ball is loose out in his hand, and just wave goodbye to it. He's very lucky it went out of bounds.
Jefferson left, Joyner right, Winslow the tight end on the left side, flags down as Muncy gets only a couple. Rod Martin spearheaded the defensive charge. Tom Flores, if that's a 5-yarder, might decline the penalty. It is against San Diego.
decline. It is third down.
Ed White, veteran right guard. So it's 3rd and 8. Winslow way out to the left with Jefferson in the slot. Joyner at the top of your screen. Hendricks right over center. Fouts through the hands of Winslow at the 40-yard line. Otis McKinney on the coverage, the 5th defensive back. Chargers will have to punt. Rick Partridge, who averaged 39 yards a kick on the season from Utah. Played for the New Orleans Saints last year.
We have not seen McCrary in the game, the second tight end. And as we said, that changes what Winslow's role is in this San Diego offense. That's the first chance we've had to see him, and the pass was thrown badly.
Ira Matthews waiting at the Oakland 38. And Matthews, who was questionable, he's had some knee problems, returns to the 50. Cliff Thrift with a tackle. We have a timeout. 3 minutes and 8 seconds left in the first quarter here in San Diego, where the Raiders lead by 7.
Allstate challenges you. Find your homeowner's insurance policy, then bring it in and compare.
I personally accept Allstate's challenge.
Because all homeowners insurance is not alike. Allstate could show you ways to get more for your money.
Allstate's thrown us a challenge. Keep looking.
Allstate homeowners insurance could give you more value for the money. So find your policy and bring it in.
I found it.
You found it? You're in good hands with Allstate. That's a promise.
There's a lot of good things in life. I like driving through the redwoods. That first run on fresh new powder. The taste of Olympia beer. On the job, I like working with guys who know what they're doing. I like walking the beach with TJ, finding a great little bar overlooking the bay, and the taste of Olympia beer.
Yeah, the great light taste of Olympia beer. That's what I like. That's what I like.
See Sports World. See the greatest lineup of figure skaters ever to compete in one competition. Plus basketball's Meadowlark Lemon with the great Wilt Chamberlain next Sunday.
Well, they're still hopping in Philadelphia, where the Eagles defeated the Dallas Cowboys 20-7 to win the National Conference Championship. And here in San Diego, this partisan Charger crowd has watched the Oakland Raiders take the early lead, 14-7. Oakland's ball just inside the 50, San Diego territory. Play action, Plunkett. Open, Chandler. And he has a first down at the 34. Bob Chandler, the veteran required from Buffalo, his first catch today, 15 yards.
Look from behind, quarterback, Plunkett. Look at the amount of time he has. Settles on a receiver. Chandler had come back from the football. Driven the defender, Mike Williams, off, and then came back to the football, a classic Oakland pattern. How many times did we see Fred Biletnikoff down the field, back to the football?
Absolutely. Chandler, with those 49 catches and 10 touchdowns, led the Raiders in both departments. King, a gain of almost 3. Ray Buckwheat Preston made the tackle. Say it's the biggest day of sports in 1981, Super Bowl Sunday. Just 2 weeks away, and it'll be right here on NBC. We invite you to join Sports World, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, a look back on the fantastic 1980 NFL year. Then at 2 o'clock, college basketball. We'll be joining our partners Packer and McGuire as Ohio State meets Virginia. Actually, I'm not going to be there. How can I? I'll be in New Orleans. That'll be 2 weeks from today. Ohio State and Virginia. Brian Gumbel will host a spectacular pregame extravaganza of all time, and then it's the winner of this game against Philadelphia. Wide open is Chester, and a first down at the 21-yard line of San Diego. Mike Williams with a tackle, a 10-yard play. Gene Upshaw protecting his quarterback, Jim Plunkett, and Upshaw in his 10th title game, tying the all-time record.
It's very important today that we give Plunkett enough time to read his coverage and throw the ball. It's very crucial early in the game that he has the confidence that we're blocking him so that he can drop back and have confidence when he drop back to look for more than one receiver. The guys up front had to do a better job than we've done all year because they have an excellent defensive line that'll come after you. They come after you for 60 minutes, and we know that.
How prophetic that Gene Upshaw should call it a touchdown to Kenny King. Plunkett, given all that protection, finds his halfback King in the end zone. It's 20-7.
Gene Upshaw, of course, crucially responsible. He's got a one-on-one assignment with Gary Big Hands Johnson. He's taking care of his part of it. Plunkett and King are taking care of theirs.
Two new members, relatively new. Plunkett was with the Raiders, of course, last year, but didn't see any action. And now Barr for the extra point. Down the middle. So Jim Plunkett of the Oakland Raiders has thrown 2 touchdown passes and run for a third. And it's 21-7. Oakland. Is that a pass, Len Dawson, that you were expecting? King in the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you, Dick, he's working on the linebacker. Number 52 is Ray Preston. And when you have a speed like a King against a linebacker like Preston, it's a mismatch. And generally, the halfback is going to come out on top.
Kenny King from Oklahoma, one of the many greats for the Sooners. He's a happy personality. He says he wants to wear a peacock feather in his helmet. He has a tradition of wearing a feather in his helmet at practices. He says, you got to get me a peacock feather for the Super Bowl. Well, that to be decided yet. Dan Pastorini, whose broken leg allowed Plunkett to become the starting quarterback. And many feel that that was a turning point in this Raiders season. Not to take anything away from Pastorini, but how could he have done better than Plunkett? Bauer at the 11. And he is stopped at the 25-yard line. Jim Plunkett has thrown the ball 6 times as we watch Fouts come on. 5 completions for Plunkett today. 5 out of 6 for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's almost a good game, and he isn't through the first quarter yet. Fouts and the Coryell Aerial Circus now taking the field. Jefferson, top of your screen. Coryell sees Joyner, bottom of your screen, and that's Ron Smith in motion and setting left. A reverse to Smith, well read by Otis McKinney. Not fooled a bit. A yard loss.
On the reverse, number 84, Ron Smith, the ball carrier.
Good defenses hand out the responsibility for containment. And on this particular play, Smith going outside meets the contained man who strips him to the ground.
Ron Smith, a loss of 1. He leaves the game. Winslow in.
You got him, Jay.
Muncy. Good tackle by 53 Rod Martin around the ankles of Muncy to stop him at the 27, where it will be 3rd down and about 7. John Brody. Tom Flores off with that 2-touchdown lead. How about the thinking of Fouts in San Diego?
Well, Dick, Tom Flores knows exactly what Fouts wants to do. He wants to get him in favor position.
7 down, doesn't put him in one of those. He's trying to get any receiver he can open. Oakland has actually fooled him defensively, and as a result,
1 turnover and not much success.
Joyner in motion. 3rd and call it 8. Open is Joyner. And a first down at the 46. 20 more yards for the veteran Joyner out of Grambling. He had the touchdown earlier.
That's exactly the kind of play you talked about, John. Joyner getting a matchup and breaking to the inside. Fouts knows how to handle that. Looked like he might have gotten a screen over there from Kellen Winslow. Almost a basketball play, a little pick.
And that's the end of an exciting first quarter at San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. 21-7 Raiders.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
This compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
Control 6 to base. Looks like this big old hole in the ground is going to be safe for the night. Over.
They come on all beat. It's Miller time. Miller time. Time to appreciate the difference between a good beer
When it's time to relax
and a great beer.
one beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
You got the time. We got the beer. Miller beer. Come Miller time. We got the beer.
Head and Shoulders doesn't have it. Selsun Blue doesn't have it. Only Denerex has it. An extra relief medicine to stop dandruff itch. You can feel it tingle. All three have one medicine for dandruff itch, but only Denerex adds a second medicine, an exclusive anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend. You can feel it tingle. That's extra relief medicine, and only Denerex has it. In regular or New Mountain Fresh Herbal, Denerex stops dandruff itch with an extra relief medicine.
The San Diego defense allowing 21 points in that first quarter. It's 21-7, the visiting Raiders over the Chargers. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, Len Dawson, John Brody on hand here in San Diego. First down, Chargers will open the second quarter at their 47. Mike Thomas's first carry to midfield. Solid hit from Rod Martin. How about Ted Hendricks, 83? Let's follow him.
Ted Hendricks is freelancing. They've given him the freedom to come from almost anywhere on the line of scrimmage. He goes all the way across to the right side. These are plays that we gathered for you in the first quarter, show you some of the diversity, some of the different ways in which Ted Hendricks is utilizing his talent to disrupt Dan Fouts' plan, to disrupt blocking assignments. Quick reaction here. This is the play that we saw the screen or the little reverse on, and you see how quickly he reacted back to that play.
Flags down as Fouts is going. Intercepted by McKinney at the 20. We'll see if the Raiders were offside. Someone got in a hurry. And now the most important man on the field is that fellow in the black cap, Cal Lepore. Is it interception or not? San Diego retains possession. McKinney's interception is nullified.
A tremendous play by McKinney. Kellen Winslow in motion. They put McKinney on him down the sideline. Little delay move and then a sprint for the ball. But that's just excellent defensive play. Picked the ball out, went up at the right moment and took it away from Kellen Winslow.
Well, that is a tremendous athletic effort by McKinney from Colorado, acquired from the New York Giants for a future draft this year. Fouts gets the ball back. And it's 2nd and 2. Flanker screen. Oh, Winslow's going to throw the ball. Wide open is Jefferson.
McCrary, number 88, in the game. They can use Winslow all over the field. Winslow not only a pass catcher, but a rifle shot. The ball hit so quickly in the hands of Jefferson, it bounced up. He was lucky to pull it down.
It's a lateral pass.
Boy, he whipped that ball.
He did indeed. He's a great athlete. First down at the 16 of Oakland. Muncie with flags down. And Muncie dropped to the 12. Appeared to be movement on the right side of the San Diego line. Let's go back to the last play. John Jefferson said, hey, I had a touchdown, Kelly. You got to just loft it a little bit more.
Show you some teeth on that one.
Penalty against San Diego. It'll be 1st and 15.
There'll be a little play acting on this play. You saw the little delay there at the line of scrimmage, and then the burst of speed into the secondary. Watch the bounce of the ball there. Just took his eyes off it momentarily, but went right back to it. Great body control.
Illegal formation, offense, only 6 men in the line of scrimmage. First.
Must have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. One of those interior linemen or a tight end lined up off the line of scrimmage, and it's Chuck Muncie receiving some attention on the sidelines. He's been replaced. Mike Thomas, the lone setback. Fouts dumps it to Thomas. Good move. But down at the 21, Matt Millen, 55, the rookie from Penn State. One of only 2 rookies on this Oakland team. The other is backup quarterback Mark Wilson.
They call Millen Spike. And he has put the spike in a lot of offensive plays during this season. Has been a most valuable addition. 265 pounds out there today, playing the responsibility, the role of linebacker, but he's just an extra defensive lineman out there.
Muncie still being worked on, and now will take a seat along the near sidelines as Fouts stares at 2nd and 14. Jefferson coming to this side. Winslow split left. Intercepted by Owens. Burgess Owens has blockers, and Thomas hits him at the 27-yard line. Tough break for the Chargers, and went right through someone's hands.
John Brody, why don't you take this replay?
Well, Dan Fouts gets the defense he's looking for. He finds a way to get Jefferson in the middle, one-on-one. They're using 5 backs back there, but he still found some openings. He's made a couple crucial mistakes. They both resulted in turnovers. As a result, this baby has the problems of a possible blowout.
Now there's a timeout. 12.5 minutes remaining in the first half. The Raiders have the lead and the ball.
Ford calls Escort the world car with better ideas from around the world. Plymouth Horizon's an American car with some pretty good ideas, too. How do they compare? In an independent test, 50 Americans judged. For styling, Horizon 1. For driving ease and riding comfort, Horizon 1. Horizon was rated superior overall to Escort's world car, 43-7. Guess that makes Horizon the world beater. From Plymouth.
Now with 7% off the sticker price, this Horizon is $920 less than that Escort. But hurry, this is a limited time offer.
I've been thinking about the market lately.
My broker says now's a good time to look into tax-free income. What'd your broker say?
Well, my broker's E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
A world premiere. His daughter was dying, so he made a pact with God.
Oh, Father, let her live so I can love her.
300 Miles for Stephanie, a true story Monday.
Here's that interception. Both interceptions deep in Oakland territory.
John, should the quarterback have to take the responsibility of an interception on that one?
Well, let's see. Here's John Jefferson again. I agree with John Brody. That was a bad toss.
Very often, though, a pass perfectly thrown bounces off the hands of the receiver and becomes an interception. And in that case, certainly the quarterback should not be responsible. But John was right. That one was high.
The ex-Jet, Burgess Owens, with the interception. Plunkett has the ball at his 25. Think of the 26. Van Egan close to the 30.
And on to number 30.
Mark Van Egan from Colgate. Again, the leading rusher for the Raiders this year with 838 yards. The all-time Oakland record holder for single season. And well over the 5,000-yard mark in his career. Second down, short 7. Kenny King. 32-yard line as Louis Kelcher, who has not only contributed defensively but also to the local cancer society. He's raised some $75,000 in the bike-a-thon program the cancer people promote here in San Diego. In fact, they had to build him a special bike. The first one he got on, he just crushed both tires. They had to build him an extra large one.
Big Lou responding well, and pursuit is the name of the game defensively, getting as many people to the point of attack as you possibly can. The Chargers have done that, but they have not played as well defensively in this game as they have throughout this season.
3rd down 4. Down he goes. Big Hands Johnson and Louis Kelcher making the play.
Tackled by number 71, Fred Dean.
Fred Dean in there again, but it was Kelcher who secured the tackle.
Big Lou in there. I think quarterback just pulling this one down. Watch the move on the inside. It's a stunt between Big Hands Johnson and big number 74 Louis Kelcher. Option man, the center Dave Dalby picked him up, but he's back in on the action. Let's go quickly and look at that stunt again. The two tackles exchanging responsibility. The center becomes the option pickup man. Had to come over and get Lou, so he couldn't get in on the quarterback.
Guy nails a long one to Fuller. Oh my, look at this kick into the end zone. And Guy rooting for it to stop at the 1, 71 yards, 51 on net, and a timeout. 10 minutes, 39 seconds left in the first half in San Diego. Chargers with the ball trailing by 2 touchdowns.
Get interest on checking with a Now account.
Okay, Ed, good take. You know, these Now accounts sound great, but let's face it, there's a ton of places offering them. I understand they really vary, and I just don't have the time to check them all out. So who would know the most about it?
Find out from the people who invented checking. Your full-service bankers. They're professionals who can explain the various Now accounts and advise you on the right one. Look for this symbol of a full-service bank. We've got the answers.
This bud's for everyone who wraps it, stacks it, and sacks it.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
See dramatic 4th and final round coverage as top celebrities and golf's top pros try to take home the title of the prestigious Bob Hope Desert Classic next weekend on NBC.
Back at San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. Chargers ball at the 20 after Guy's kick trickled into the end zone. 71 yards on that punt, longest of the year for Guy. 21-7, San Diego trails. Mike Thomas breaks a tackle and gains 5. John Matuzak finally made the stop. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KVBC TV3, Las Vegas.
San Diego the scene. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen, Len Dawson, John Brody. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Dallas Cowboys 20-7 earlier today for the National Conference Championship. This game started in a wild and crazy manner on a deflected pass that went through King's hands to his teammates Chester. 65-yard touchdown and a fumble by Thomas, and the Raiders say they have it. It's Oakland's ball, and look who pounces on it, Ted Hendricks. It's been that kind of day for the Raiders thus far. They have 2 pass interceptions to stop San Diego drives deep in Oakland territory, and they lead 21-7, and Don Coryell's team is in trouble.
Ronnie Dawson made the point at the opening of the show. San Diego leads the NFL in giveaways, that's fumbles and interceptions, and the Oakland Raiders lead the NFL in takeaways. There's another one.
Oakland out, endeavoring to capitalize at the San Diego 29. It looked as if Hendricks would not only strip the ball away, but recovered it. Arthur Whittington in the backfield for the first time, and he gets the call. A yard at best. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers and the National Football League is prohibited.
Lenny Dawson, get inside of Plunkett's head. You go for a big one here. You get a turnover. You take the shot now.
Wants to think about it.
I look for Plunkett to go for it on first down, Merlin, not second down.
Not second down.
Now he has to throw.
Good protection. Flags are down. Plunkett to the 19. That would be very close to a first down, but I believe we have a hold against the Raiders. So the Raiders, instead of a near first down or possible first down, now will have Plunkett at 2nd down and 20.
Have you got any good 2nd and 20 plays over there, Lenny?
I think, yes, it's a punting situation pretty soon.
Get Guy back in there.
It's holding 61. Offense, 2nd down. Sorry, the number is 65. 6'5".
Mickey Marvin, the right guard, former world wrist wrestling finalist, married one of the Raiderette cheerleaders this past year. That's King, who has a touchdown pass in motion. It's like a screen. King, incomplete. Mike Williams on the coverage. At King and Chester, and you see Chester was floating in behind the play. I think he was looking for another deflection. That combination worked for the first touchdown of the game.
Actually a misfired play. Big Wilbur Young had read the screen and got out there. Plunkett could not throw the pass on the screen. Ended up going deep, or trying to go deep to Chester. But the play obviously had misfired. The timing was off. The ball thrown a little bit high there, knocked away by Williams.
King unable to reach it. Chester hoping he might bat it up for another touchdown play. Van Egan and Whittington now behind Plunkett on 3rd and 20.
Got to wonder if maybe Gary Johnson wasn't shaken up. We haven't seen much of Wilbur Young during the last half of the year, but he's in there now.
Plunkett to Cliff Branch. Look at the speed. Branch has a first down at the 15-yard line. Well, yesterday Al Davis was watching Branch, who refused to come off the field. Branch wanted more and more and more practice, wanted to work on another route, and they finally had to chase him off the stadium floor.
When you have a great receiver with speed, you can turn a short pass into a very big play. That's Branch's individual athletic skill that gets the first down. It's about a 6-yard pattern, and from there on, Branch just uses his great speed and his vision to get that first down.
23 yards on the reception. Van Egan carries to the 11-yard line. 2nd down and 6. Branch playing in his 6th AFC championship game. He missed only in '73. And in 1974, he set an AFC record with 9 catches. 74, a game that everyone in Pittsburgh will remember. That was the year that Oakland thought they had to win. And then the immaculate reception, Franco Harris won it for the Steelers. On 2nd and 5, Van Egan drilled after a 2-yard gain. Fred Dean knifing in, along with Woodrow Lowe and Gary Johnson. Fuller was there as well, and Kelcher too.
And on the tackle, number 71, Fred Dean. And number 74, Louis Kelcher.
We're at the midpoint of the 2nd quarter here in San Diego. The Raiders in command 21-7 and trying to add to the lead after the fumble recovery. It's 3rd and call it a short 3.
Tremendous pressure on San Diego's defense here. They look up at that scoreboard. They can't afford to give up another 7-pointer.
Chandler to the right, Branch in the slot, Derek Jensen in the game with Arthur Whittington. Whittington That'll be first and goal at the 3-yard line.
That's complete to number 22, Arthur Whittington. Tackled by number 42, Mike Fuller.
Oh, Plunkett had his wide men clear out deep in the end zone and threw underneath to his running back.
Interesting how your play selection often can vary according to the score on the scoreboard. When you've got a good lead, you can afford to take some chances. The safe call there, the running play. Plunkett fouls up the defense, goes to the air, gets good execution from his offensive line, has time to scan, find the open man, and then deliver the ball on target.
In fact, it almost looked on that first replay as if Plunkett was looking left and throwing right. He really kept that defense honest. Timeout has been called by the Oakland Raiders. 6 minutes and 28 seconds before the intermission in San Diego. The Oakland Raiders lead 21-7.
Hey, see y'all down the road, Jack. If you're gonna move your family, you can save a lot of money by renting a truck. Moving yourself, and you might as well rent a real truck. A Ryder. Ryder isn't famous for renting cars, beep, beep, little trailers. Ryder's famous for trucks. Road drivers will tell you that.
Okay, King of the Road. Just hold the lamp.
Hey, see y'all down the road, Jack.
Ryder, the best truck money can rent.
Genie, open your doors, America.
That'll do it. Genie does the work, so you don't have to, man. Just push once to open, like this, and twice to close.
From Boston out to Denver, New Year's through December. Genie, open your doors.
Look for Genie in the yellow pages.
America.
When we have good news, we like to share it with you, and I'd like to share some of the good fortune to befallen my partner Dick Enberg. Just announced yesterday that again, for the second year in a row, the National Association of Broadcasters, Sports Writers have named you Broadcaster of the Year, and congratulations to you. I don't know of anyone who deserves that honor more than you do.
Hey, the only thing I do well is pick good parents and good analysts. That's the start. Thank you, Merlin. Be great going back to Salisbury. First and goal at the 3. Mark Van Egan scores for Oakland. Untouched. And usually unemotional, Tom Flores with a smile and a gesture.
Get a chance to put your helmets on at home. Here comes one right into the living room. Mark Van Egan. Tremendous hole, gaping hole in that offensive line. They just ripped San Diego to shreds on that one, and Van Egan untouched, literally, as he went into the end zone.
Barr's try for point is there, and the Raiders have jumped in front 28-7. I'd like to also acknowledge the fact that it'll be special, that honor of Sportscaster of the Year, to share it with Al Michaels of ABC, a longtime friend, and his outstanding work during the course of the year, and especially from our colleagues, our sportscaster, sports writers. It is a very special honor.
Tom Flores, a rather placid man on this sideline, but he does have things churning inside of him.
I'm not really a demonstrative person. I get my emotions. My insides are jumping up and down, but on the outside, I appear to be calm. But most of the time, I'm the thinker. I'm thinking one play ahead and what has to be done, what was done, and I just don't show my emotions like some people, jumping up and down, yelling and screaming. But there are times where you'll see me emotional. When we won in Cleveland, I was leaping up and down the air. They just didn't catch it on the camera.
Well, we'll be watching it today, Thomas. 28-7 as Barr line drives this one to Bauer. The 10 into that slippery spot, and Oakland has San Diego pinned deep in its own end. Good coverage by Jeff Barnes, the linebacker from California.
San Diego Chargers have started their drives in bad field position throughout this day, Dick. Starting on their own 17, then a good position on the 38. They did something with those early possessions. Then on the 20, the 25, the 20, and now deep in there.
Flag is down, and apparently Oakland was offside on the kickoff, so San Diego will get a second chance.
Dick, one of the things we do know about this San Diego team is that there is not a team in football with more offensive explosiveness than the San Diego Chargers quarterback Dan Fouts. They've looked at a lot of long scores during the season and have come back aggressively in the game. And I'm sure right now Fouts is saying, okay, one at a time. Let's get in there and get one right now.
28-7 the score. How about that, Len? You're following the Chargers and Dan Fouts. I guess you really expect him to pass whether he's ahead by 3 touchdowns or behind by 3.
That's for you, John. John Brody.
Well, Merlin, in my opinion, there's only one man I'd like to have when I'm down by 3. He's been here before. He's come out on top a few times.
46 kicking team will kick 30.
But he's got a much more difficult task right now, Merlin, because he's playing against 5 defensive backs. Oakland is dictating what they'd like to do. They're coming at will, and he's got to bring them back before half, get 7 points on the board. He can pick up 14. 21's a long way to go.
And you look at those turnovers, 3 of them, and 3 touchdowns, the difference in the game. Bauer, 20, 30, fumbles out of bounds to San Diego. They'll retain possession at the 35-yard line as Jeff Barnes popped the ball free, but fortunately for the Chargers, it kicked out of bounds. Here's Barnes.
Jeff Barnes, number 56, one of the good special teamers, fighting down the sideline, gets off the block there. Good speed, just leveled Bauer. Kicked that ball loose, but it's out of bounds. Ball's been on the ground a lot today, San Diego.
6:05 left in the half. Joyner left, Jefferson right, Winslow in motion. Well covered. And Lester Hayes had his eyes on another interception. He had blanketed Jefferson. And what a remarkable athlete to have to draw the assignment man for man against John Jefferson.
I talked to Lester Hayes yesterday about how he was going to play Johnson, or how he was going to play Jefferson. He said, I want to pin his left arm. I want to pin his left arm, stay right tight on him so he can't get that left arm up to control the football. He's playing it there beautifully, although he is playing the ball and the quarterback there, not the man.
2nd and 10 for Fouts. Jefferson, be a little short of the first down at the 45. Burgess Owens made the stop. Well, they're going to get progress closer to the 46. We may have a first down.
John alluded to the problems facing Dan Fouts. One of the things that Fouts is facing is a defense that can afford to play pass only. They play an entirely different brand of football. When they have that kind of lead, they know the ball is going to be in the air with San Diego on the field anyway, and with San Diego behind, doubly so.
And Chuck Muncie with that bruised shoulder, taking away the top runner from the Chargers. It's a first down.
John, is Oakland changing their strategy in the defensive backfield?
I think so. It's simple to me that Oakland is doing what they would like to do. Hendricks is freelancing a lot. They're playing
defense, and their front line is holding up without a lot of help from their linebackers.
28-7, Oakland leading. Thomas. He's to the Oakland 46-yard line. 8-yard gain. Rod Martin.
Willie Jones made the tackle. One thing that big lead has done for Oakland is to take some of the crowd out of the game.
No question that you can quiet the home crowd, and that's one of your advantages when you're playing at home, by putting some points on that board. Good job of mixing the play calling by the San Diego Chargers. Joe Gibbs, offensive coordinator, sending those plays in.
Thomas again burrowing for the first down at the 43. Hendricks and Matuzak made the tackle. Clock running, 4:45 left in the half.
You see the signals going in. 3 men signaling on the side. And the man standing in front, that's Rick Tyne. He's the strength coach. He stands in front of the 3 of them to try and shield them from the opposing sideline. And you never know which of those signals is the official signal. That's an interesting look.
Fouts in incomplete. Burgess Owens was coming up quickly, and Jefferson with a tough chance. Owens, one of the many deals made by the Raiders this past year, acquiring him from the New York Jets. Owens a #1 pick by the Jets in '73. Here are those signals again.
I don't know about you at home, but I didn't get that one. I missed that one.
Ron Smith, the hero last week with a touchdown that beat Buffalo, is in the huddle for San Diego. Smith, number 84 to the right, along with Jefferson on 2nd and 10. Thomas. Out of bounds at the 33. That's close to a first down. Thomas from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, one of the top runners in Washington Redskin history.
John Brody, is it difficult for a quarterback to be patient under these circumstances? You want to get a score on the board quickly.
Merlin, it is, but he doesn't have to worry about quickly. He's got 4:09 left in the second quarter. He's doing the right thing. They've taken a linebacker out. They've got 5 backs. It's a whole lot easier to run wide and up the middle on 2 occasions to pick up the first downs to keep your drive alive. If he's a little bit patient, which I think Dan can be, he's got a good chance to move it in.
Just short of the first down, as you saw, by a link of chain. Fouts, let's just check his mark here in the first half. He's thrown 16 times, 9 complete, 171 yards, 2 intercept. Plunkett, 7 for 9, 188 yards. Even though he's thrown 7 less passes, he has more yardage than Fouts and 2 touchdown passes.
Dick, one of the interesting things about this San Diego team is that Fouts can have a great day. They can still lose. In fact, of Fouts's 300-yard plus games, he's had 8 of those in this last year. They lost 3 of those games. 3 games when he threw for over 300 yards, and they were still out of the ball game.
That's amazing. Most
one of those against Oakland, by the way.
Take 300 yards anytime. 4 minutes left in the half. Fouts looked as if he got the necessary yardage. First down at the Oakland 32.
One of the things that the Oakland Raider defense has done effectively all year long is to use their full complement of defensive players. Coach Flores and defensive coordinator Charlie Sumner will mix up the personnel. They'll put in a 4-man line. They'll put in a 3-man line. They'll use Cedric Hardman, number 86, as a pass rusher. Use Willie Jones, number 90, as a pass rusher. They keep you off balance offensively.
And Hardman and Jones are in there now at defensive end. And Jones almost got to Fouts, and Thomas unable to make the catch. And Fouts slow and getting up as number 90, Willie Jones, in hard from the defensive left side.
Jones working one-on-one on number 60, Dan Audick. Of course, one of the real blows and one of the few injuries to the San Diego Charger key personnel was to Russ Washington. Audick has taken his place, has had to do a lot of learning on the field, and unfortunately has a way to go yet.
Jones getting just enough of Fouts to force that pass a little high. 2nd and 10. Thomas. Fumble again, and I believe it went right back to 63. Doug Wilkerson, the veteran guard from North Carolina Central. And that's a break for the Chargers. That ball popping free as Thomas has fumbled for the 2nd time.
I have to believe that you need to credit the defense. Watch the stripping action. Arms and heads. That's Ted Hendricks going right for that football, tackling the football. No one in football is around the big play more than Ted Hendricks. He has a nose for it. He's one of the people you love to have playing defense for you.
Amazing man, top of all of his other talents. He has blocked more kicks than anyone in NFL history. 3rd and 9. For Thomas. 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Four-yard play.
A rare opportunity to see Dan Fouts run. He normally will not run, but he does here. He gets a little extra time, finds the open receiver. That was not a typical Fouts pass, but I'll guarantee you he'll take that one any day.
Bought himself some time as you saw Browning, 73, pressuring. It's 1st and goal at the 7. Thomas. to the
Face
4.
mask.
Rod Martin and Dwayne Osteen on the tackle.
Looked like Thomas was stripped right over backwards.
Tackle by number 35.
Watch the final tackle on Thomas as he dives off the left side. Good job of adjusting. There was no hole there. That's Rod Martin. Ooh, he's got him from the backside. Yeet.
2-minute timeout given in San Diego. It comes with 1:58 left in the half. San Diego trying to cut into the lead.
This is my New York life agent. How did he get so big in my eyes? When I got married, he suggested a very affordable starter policy. He really grew in my eyes. Later, the same New York life agent gave me brilliant advice in business insurance, and he grew some more. Now it's a policy that guarantees retirement income. My New York life agent stands 10 feet high with me. Ask your New York life agent. He has the answers for you.
Are you being robbed by the pump? Front-wheel drive Plymouth Reliant K. Highest mileage 6-passenger wagon. Chevy claims Citation has the utility of a wagon. But watch. With back seat folded down, Citation holds only 41 cubic feet to 69 cubic feet for Reliant. And you get higher mileage with Reliant K from Plymouth. Now make your best deal on a new 81 Plymouth. Then get $380 to $1,200 direct from Chrysler on top of it.
Next Sunday, college basketball's best battle it out in exciting regional action, featuring Louisville versus Missouri or Indiana against Ohio State. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Here's Kellen Winslow's block on that last play.
He's responsible for the linebacker, Rod Martin. Martin doing a good job of getting off, and he gets a hold of the backside, pulls Thomas right over backwards. I just saw the head go back. I thought he had a hold of the face mask of the helmet, but he had a hold of his shoulder pads, pulled him right over backwards. That had to hurt.
2nd and goal. San Diego at the 4-yard line of Oakland. They trail the Raiders 28-7. Less than 2 minutes remain first half. Bouts to Thomas. And they've got him for a loss. You think that on top of everything else, Lester Hayes isn't strong. Picked him up like he was a 10-pound bag of sugar.
By number 37, Lester Hayes.
One of the things that makes Lester Hayes unique is the package that he has of great speed and strength. A very unusual athlete. Watch him just pick Thomas up here. I'm going to take you home with me. He got him up off the ground.
Ball at the 8-yard line. 3rd and goal for San Diego, and a near must-scoring opportunity for Fouts.
A crucial situation for Fouts. He needs that 7 points.
Triple left with Joyner in motion. Joyner. Touchdown. Charlie Joyner, not Jefferson, caught that touchdown. His 2nd of the day.
John, take the replay. John.
I'll tell you what he's doing. What he's doing is using 3 wide receivers to the same side of the field. All that is set up because Greg McCrary is back in the game. It allows him to use different formations. He used a lot of patience with those formations. As a result, put on a great drive.
A most important touchdown for San Diego before the half. They've cut the Raider lead to 28-14. The Raiders have 1 minute 5 seconds to get back some more themselves.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car without stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
From the land of sky blue waters, from the land of pines, lofty balsams, comes the beer refreshing.
The great taste of Ham's beer makes the most of great tasting food. So enjoy the premium beer born in the land of sky blue waters. Ham.
Beer refreshing. Beer refreshing. Hershey hands.
Veteran Charlie Joyner with his second touchdown reception makes it 28-14. They have bruised a forehead or eye and catching that ball. There are the numbers: 64 yards in 13 plays. Fouts to Joyner for the score. Moody and Whittington drift back for the Raiders. Raiders also have some men up tight looking for a possible onside kick. Whittington. Flags are down. Might have been a fumble, and San Diego says they've recovered. They have. Flag down, but I believe it's against Oakland. It'll be the Chargers' ball. Glenn Edwards.
And how quickly the momentum of a game can change. Don Coryell, a little sigh of relief.
Wait a minute, there's another flag back at the spot of the kickoff, and I believe the Chargers may have been offside, in which case nullifying penalties. That's against San Diego. Against nullifying, and oh, what a break for the Raiders. They'll kick it over.
Silence in the stadium. Absolute silence.
I did not see the Raider penalty, but it did look as if one of the San Diego men was in front of the kicker. Whittington had trouble written all over that one from the start.
Trouble getting his hands on it. Again, the ball stripped away. Edwards doing a good job of getting his fist into the ball. And the Chargers thought they had themselves a marvelous opportunity to get another 7 points on the board.
So the small things, offside on the kickoff, and it cost San Diego. Barnes was guilty of illegal use of the hands for Oakland.
It's got to deflate you a little bit. You saw that tremendous burst of emotion from the San Diego bench and from the San Diego players on the field, and then suddenly taken away from them. They've got to regenerate now. They've got to get themselves back into the game, and they've got to make certain that they don't allow Plunkett and his Oakland Raiders to come down the field and get more points on the board. They've gotten back to within range now.
1 minute left in the half. Venershka will kick it again. From the receiver's perspective, Whittington gets another chance. Whoa. He's down at the 20-yard line. Glenn Edwards made the tackle again. Let's go to John Brody.
Dick, we see, I mentioned Greg McCrary set it up. There's 3 wide receivers, Jefferson, Joyner, and Winslow on the same side of the field. Joyner cuts underneath, gets it on Otis McKinney one-on-one. You can't cover all 3. Fouts picked the one that was open. Touchdown San Diego. 54 seconds left. They're back to within 14.
All right, John Brody and Len Dawson, great to have their expertise with us. As we said earlier, they'll be in New Orleans for the Superdome. Bring us their insight as they follow the quarterbacks in the focal point of the respective offenses. And it'll be Philadelphia representing the National Conference against the winner here today. On the ground to Whittington. To the 22, Ray Preston with a tackle.
Number 22, Arthur Whittington, long area.
That fumble by Whittington on the kickoff return may have sobered the Raiders. Had they any thoughts of trying to march downfield quickly, you get the feeling when you get that one back, you might be better off just hanging on to it and run out the clock.
San Diego calling a timeout. They would like to force Oakland to deal with a 4th down situation if they can.
Tom Flores has had his team in much better field position throughout, and those 6 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
Interesting how field position can dictate in a ball game. Obviously, Oakland has had a couple of opportunities to start well within San Diego territory. Once on the 49 and once on the 29. Both of those resulted in touchdowns.
time, we'll have highlights, some interesting features for you, so stay with us. You saw Jim Plunkett along the sidelines and Don Coryell studying his notes. I'd like to send along our best to Jim's mother. She's blind, as most everyone knows, and listens to the games up in San Jose, California, and follows her son by radio. And Jim says that Mom sometimes can't quite handle the pressure. She gets up and has to take a walk, get away from the sound on television or from the radio sound. But certainly, as any mother would, just pulling for her son to reach that goal of the Super Bowl.
How nice it is to see someone who's been written off come back and have the kind of year, the kind of second opportunity that Jim Plunkett has had in this season.
That courage in the entire Plunkett family reflected in the young quarterback. Draw play to King, and the Chargers had that one well read. 2-yard loss. Preston again made the stop.
Another timeout.
And a timeout call by San Diego to stop the clock. 37 seconds remaining in the first half. We'll be right back after these messages from the National Football League.
It's hard to believe that less than a year ago, she wanted to end her life by suicide. Hi, I'm Steve Nelson of the New England Patriots. I want to show you how people like Carol who face this desperate problem are being helped by a very special group of people here in Boston. They're called the Samaritans. They provide a 24-hour-a-day suicide prevention service, and the work is made possible by the United Way. United Way works here, and thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way.
Hello, I'm Dick Enberg, and this is the ultimate souvenir of one of sports' biggest events, the official Super Bowl 15 game program containing dozens of action photos, a week-by-week review of the '80 season, and complete scouting reports of the Super Bowl teams. This is the same 144-page program that'll be sold in New Orleans, so order yours now. Send a check or money order for $3.50 for each program to Super Bowl 15, Post Office Box 15, Houston, Texas 77001. Allow 3 weeks for delivery after the game, but order today.
The American Football Conference Championship game here in San Diego. The Oakland Raiders using turnovers to build up a 3-touchdown lead. San Diego has gotten one of those back. 3rd down and 10. Oakland at its 20. Chandler and Branch both to the left. King. Gain of only 1. Bob Horn along with Glenn Edwards on the tackle. Clock stopped again by the Chargers with 31 seconds left. That's their final timeout.
Lenny Dawson, a quick question for you. Anything that Oakland has done in this first half that has really surprised you or shocked you?
Well, I'll tell you, Merlin, I'm really surprised at a couple of plays that Plunkett, he's the big play man. He came up with a couple of plays, some touchdown passes, but to Cliff Branch, it was 3rd and 20 on 2 occasions, and Plunkett came up with the throw right on the money that came up with a first down and kept those drives going, and they scored after that. So Plunkett is living up to his reputation as a big play quarterback.
There's his speedy receiver, Branch, who on 3rd and long was able on the first occasion to get open deep, and on the second take a short pass and use that blinding speed to race to a first down.
John, do you think that the feeling in the second half is going to change? What does San Diego have to do to get back into this game in the second half?
I think very much that Oakland is in a dangerous position. San Diego took enough time to get a touchdown, almost got a turnover. They're in a place right now, if they get a good punt return, they could put 3 more on the board. It's very dangerous to try and contain the ball against San Diego. Oakland better go out and continue what they were doing.
Beautiful kick again. Fuller at his 19. 25. 31. Clock stops with 19 seconds left on the change of possession. Lindsey Mason downfield to make the tackle for Oakland. 60-yard kick by Raymond Guy. 13 yards on the return.
Not only a 60-yard kick, but miles high. Incredible hang time, allowing people to get down underneath the kick and cover it. I'm sure that his average in the first half is well over what he averaged in that Houston game. He averaged 51 yards a kick on 9 kicks. I'll bet his average is better than that today.
It's going to be close. A sensational weapon, Raymond Guy. Fouts facing a defense playing very loose. Owens is at his own 40-yard line. Complete and out of bounds to Jefferson with 14 seconds left. Guy's average today is 59 yards, 0.3 in this first half.
John Jefferson, just an extraordinary talent. He's going to a spot on the sideline, wants to arrive there at the same time the football does. You can't do it any better than that.
No, sir. And the happy feet of Jefferson again. How difficult it must be to follow him. Fouts almost intercepted by Davis, and he had a lot of room in which to run ahead and may have been guilty of looking ahead. Willie Jones, meanwhile, applied the heat on Fouts to force that pass awry. 8 seconds left.
Jones, or Fouts, of course, I think would like to go back and recall that one. He has thrown a couple of bad passes today. That one under pressure, but still not the kind of pass he dare throw here.
Chargers would like at least a long pass out of bounds for a field goal try. They have no timeouts to use. Ted Hendricks is playing shallow center field in the defense. Incomplete. Excellent defensive play by Dwayne Osteen to jar the ball free from Jefferson. 3 seconds left.
Defensive backs need to react very quickly to the football. You're watching the quarterback often, although in a man-to-man situation you play the receiver. You see Osteen there playing the receiver all the way, going right for the football. The Oakland Raiders, one of the few teams in football that still are in a basic man-to-man setup, and they'll challenge you. Interesting, the black and silver, they like to be different. One of the ways they are different is their ability to go man-on-man with good receivers.
Burgess Owens is at the 5-yard line as they look for that long pass, and here it comes, up for grabs. Incomplete. And that is the end of the first half in San Diego. Yeah, we expected plenty of offense, and that's what the first 30 minutes have provided. Turnovers by San Diego, and the opportunistic Raiders taking advantage. And at the intermission, the score, Oakland 28, San Diego 14.
Chrysler's K cars are the highest mileage, lowest price 6-passenger cars in America. With a $59.80 sticker price, less Chrysler's 7% allowance. For credit buyers, a 4-door K car is $854 less than Citation sticker price, $601 less than Fairmont. And K cars beat them both in mileage. If you want high mileage, front-wheel drive, room for 6, and get back $430 to $780 cash, come to Chrysler. Make your best deal. Get a K car and get a check.
Right now, the one thing you want most is an opportunity.
All that you can be. Oh, yeah. Keep on reaching. Keep on growing. Be all that you can be. 'Cause we need you in the army. Be all that you can be.
Next Sunday, see the best of college basketball regional action featuring Louisville versus Missouri or Indiana against Ohio State. Check local listings. Then it's NBC Sports World featuring the heartthrobs of the 1980 Olympics, Ty Babylonia and Randy Gardner, the dazzling and exciting Peggy Fleming, and America's sweetheart, Dorothy Hamill, followed by basketball's Meadowlark Lemon with the great Wilt Chamberlain. Then it's the dramatic final round as top celebrities and top pros try to take home the prestigious title of the Bob Hope Desert Classic. Next Sunday on NBC Sports.
Our score at halftime of today's AFC title game has the Oakland Raiders out in front of the San Diego Chargers by a score of 28-14. Dick, Merlin, I guess the story of the first half, quite simply, is a story of turnovers. The Chargers have been sloppy.
No question about that, Brian. In fact, the turnover possibilities were set up very early. Two teams that, in San Diego's case, they bounced the ball around, they've had interceptions, and Oakland very opportunistic in the way they've handled them.
You know, when it rained this morning, Brian, I think a lot of the players woke up with the same feeling that, uh-oh, that's another thing to worry about. The rain, and maybe with the bad weather, there might be the turnovers. And there were occasions where that feeling came out in this first half.
I think in an emotional game, too, the ball tends to bounce around a little bit more.
The Raiders have hit, I think, harder than San Diego the first half.
A lot of good hitting.
Dick, Merlin, it appears to Mike and I down here as if Oakland's front line is just handling San Diego's defensive front. Is that the way it looks to you upstairs?
I think they've certainly given their quarterback Plunkett a lot of time to throw, and that vaunted rush has gotten to him a couple of times, but very late. He's had time to throw the football, and often much more than they would like to allow him.
And San Diego, don't forget, they were down twice deep in Oakland territory, Bryant, and coughed up the ball. If they score, we have an even game at 28 at the intermission.
Okay, Dick, Merlin, thank you much. Our score at the intermission is 28-14. Let's turn our attention to the first half. It was the first half that the Chargers would sooner forget. Their problems began actually on the third play from scrimmage. You see Jim Plunkett there. Third play from scrimmage, he bounced one off the hands of Kenny King into the arms of Raymond Chester. Well, you recall the John Mackey rule. Raymond Chester took it the other way, 56 yards. Suddenly the silver and black is up by a score of 7-0. But this one was a wild one from the start. First play from scrimmage for the Chargers. Dan Fouts up top. Into the hero of last week, Ron Smith, 55-yard strike. Looked like San Diego was going to come back and tie the ball game immediately. But instead, Lester the interceptor. Look at this. The man has 5 pickoffs during the postseason to go with 13 in the regular season. It stopped the San Diego drive. Still, Dan Fouts did manage to tie the ball game up by going upstairs one more time. When you're in a clutch situation, you look to number 18, Charlie Joyner. Dwayne Elstein was all inside his jersey on this play, but instead, Joyner comes away with the ball. Just like that, San Diego had tied the ball game at 7. It was left then to Jim Plunkett, who hit 7 of his first 9 passes to march his club down the field. He did that. Then when he couldn't find a receiver, ran it the final 5 yards for a touchdown that put Oakland ahead by a score of 14-7. Following a Fouts interception, Plunkett in position again for a touchdown, 21 yards into the arms of Kenny King, 21-7 Oakland. Then after Williams coughed up the ball in a fumble, Mark Van Egan made it a 28-7 ball game. This was before Fouts into the arms of Joyner to cut it to 28-14. This as we neared the end of the first half. So that's how we stand right now. Oakland's out in front on the scoreboard. San Diego, unfortunately, all out in front in the turnover department. We're going to get back in just a moment. We'll come back with highlights of the Philly game right after these messages from your local station.
The first time on TV, a ventriloquist, his girlfriend, and a dummy. Who's the killer?
You never really told why you were here.
Take the knife and up the hill.
No, I can't do it!
Kiss the girl goodbye.
Magic, a terrifying love story starring Anne Margaret, Sunday.
The Bingo Palace Casino announces the greatest food offer in Las Vegas. We call it the Breakfast Supreme, and it's only 49 cents. It includes 2 eggs, bacon or sausage, potatoes, toast, and jelly, and it's served 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. Served 24 hours is the tasty shrimp cocktail, only 90 cents, or a delicious beer-steamed hot dog from the bar, also 90 cents. Enjoy good eating and good food anytime at the Bingo Palace Casino.
The first team delivers again for you. Now the first team is delivering extra interest when you open a checkbook interest account.
Well, good morning, Mr. Collins.
Good morning, Sally. How are you? This interest checking plan pays 5.25% annual interest, and it's free with a $1,500 minimum balance.
Well, all right.
It pays to check with the first team.
Join the First National Bank First Team.
You could buy all these copiers and still not get everything that's in the small new Savin 840. That's why you'll find it in blue chip companies and chocolate chip companies. The Savin 840 goes into insurance agencies and secret agencies. Only the Savin 840 gives you fiber optics, a microprocessor, fast first copy time, and more in one copier. The new Savin 840, the first small copier to do it all.
Savin products are available at American Office Equipment Company.
It's nice to come home to TV3.
Joined now by Mike Adamle. We've been watching Oakland San Diego go at it for the second Super Bowl berth. Earlier today, Philadelphia decided the first one by turning back Dallas 20-7. And Michael, the hero of the game, was young Wilbert Montgomery. Now, coming into this one, everybody said, hey, he's a little guy who's been beat up. But from the opening gun, when he scored a touchdown, it was his ball game, 194 yards.
Well, watch him go. This one went for 42 yards and gave Philadelphia a 7-0 lead all week long. Dick Vermeil had been selling wolf tickets, saying his team wasn't healthy. But watch Carl Hairston here. Well, he makes Danny White fumble.
This is in the third period after it was 7-7. It set up a Tony Franklin field goal, made it 10-7. White did not have the best of ball games. He completed this one to Jay Saldi, but Tony Dorsett, with a fumble, spoiled the drive.
Well, this touchdown pass went for 28 yards, and as you said, it made it 10-7 in favor of Philadelphia. But watch what happens here. Wearing the cursed blue jerseys, number 33, usually reliable, coughs up the ball, and Philadelphia has it, and they're in business again.
Well, it set up a Leroy Harris touchdown of 9 yards. This after Jerry Robinson returned it. When Harris went over from 9 yards out, it made it Philadelphia 17, Dallas 7. Fans in Philadelphia were going nuts in 5-degree weather. Harris taking it 17-7. They added a Franklin field goal, and now it's 20-7. Philadelphia the winner. Does that surprise you?
Well, not at all, really. I think that the key to here was we watched Wilbert Montgomery go 54 yards for the last touchdown of the game. And what a day he had. It's a new NFC championship game record. The key for Philadelphia, as it has been all year long, is to keep their key people healthy. Jaworski stays healthy. Wilbert Montgomery stays healthy. Philadelphia is going to win.
I think also they got a great day out of their defense. Okay, let me ask you real quick, and we're getting in a hypothetical situation. How does Philly stack up against either one of these teams as we look down the road to Super 15?
Well, you know, they played them both during the course of the regular season. They whooped Oakland pretty bad, and they just lost to San Diego by a point, so I would say pretty well.
Okay, final again from Philadelphia was Philadelphia 20 and Dallas 7. So we know one of the teams in the Super Bowl. We're still trying to figure out the other one. Oakland right now out in front of San Diego by a score of 28-14. We turn our attention now to two people who have been dominating the news all week, both of them coming out of Houston. One is Earl Campbell, the other Bum Phillips. Bum Phillips, as you know, is out of a job and courting New Orleans, and Earl Campbell, well, as we hear from this story by Neil Roberts, he's thinking about renegotiating.
For 3 seasons, Earl Campbell has been a dominant force in the NFL. Now Campbell is saying, through his agent, Will Stewart, he's willing to sit out next season unless he is traded or his contract is renegotiated. The Oilers' stand is simple: no renegotiation and no trade. Earl was upset with the firing of Bum Phillips on New Year's Eve. He and Bum are extremely close friends, yet Campbell insists his present stand is not a backlash to Bum's firing. His agent spoke with the Houston media on Wednesday.
It's very frustrating for Earl when he has to go to Chicago or New York and play, and he's got the peers of his league and of his profession looking at him and saying, you know, talking to him and saying, yeah, boy, if anybody deserves a better deal because your deal is really a bad deal. I mean, you know, he's heard that for 2 years. Sure, it bothers him.
Earl's original contract was renegotiated at the end of last season. His current deal is for 5 more years, calling for $300,000 a year plus incentives. But much of this money is said to be in deferred payments, and he wants his money up front. He also feels this could open the door for his teammates.
There are a lot of players on the team that are very unhappy and have been for a long time. It's not a new thing. It's at least for the last couple of years. And I think the Oilers feel, obviously, that if they can say no to Earl Campbell, they can say no to anybody. And we recognize that, and they know that, and the other players know that. And in the last few days, the number of players that have called and talked to Earl and shown their support has been very, you know, unbelievable.
It's hard to believe that Earl would actually sit out 1981, but if he chooses to do that, he'd have to sit out not just 1 year, but 5 years. Whit Stewart says he and Campbell are willing to give and take on the issues. Now it's up to the Oilers. In Houston, Craig Roberts.
The city of New Orleans is in an unusually festive football mood these days. Bum Phillips, abruptly fired in Houston, is the heads-on favorite to become the next head coach of the Saints, the NFL's losing his team in 1980.
Oh, I think it's great. I think his personality and the way Bum Phillips is be good for this city.
Well, I've been a Saint fan for 14 seasons, and I'm just as tired as anyone else of seeing them lose. The players, some of them have only been here 6 or 7 years, and so they're only losers for 6 or 7 years. So I've been looking forward to having Bum Phillips come here.
I think it would be real good for the Saints and the community. I think he's an excellent coach.
I don't know about the hot and the boots, but I know I'll buy some tickets.
As for Phillips, the feeling is strongly mutual. If given the opportunity, he boasted he would pack his cowboy hat and boots, saddle up, and ride into New Orleans.
Quickly. Like tomorrow.
Phillips has met twice with Saints owner John Meekum, and he himself admits that Phillips is in fact the front runner. And that has them bum crazy way down yonder in New Orleans. I'm Ed Harding for NFL 80.
Whatever their problems, Bum and Earl are home for the season, and the day belongs to the Chargers and the Raiders. One of them only has 30 minutes of football left in their season. It's 28-14, the second half, right after this.
It's a new year and a new season when you catch the blues, the Hill Street Blues. You've never seen cops like Detective Belker. He's a real animal. Hill and Ranko, the crack street team.
They stole my car.
And Captain Farillo, the man who has to hold it all together.
Holster those weapons, it's an order.
The Hill Street Blues premiering soon on NBC.
This 1980 AFC Championship game is brought to you by Dodge, with the new 6-passenger Dodge Aries K and new Ram Tough Dodge pickups and vans. By Xerox, we help you manage information. By United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. And by Schlitz, the beer that brings you the Great American Beer Test, live.
And now...